Alright, so this is a live in-betweening animation session. No edits, no cuts, no none of that. Because I do think it's important to see what goes on in animation in real time. So this includes the errors that I made along the way and how I go about fixing those errors. So let's hop right into it. Let's jump. Let's sleep. Alright, so what I'm doing is just moving this character from this guy character from point A to point B to point C, as you'll see soon. And this is my little cheat code. This is how I go about doing it. Like, everything doesn't have to involve drawing every frame when you're going about the rough draft. Now, when I go back and do the cleanup, you know, it's all gonna tie in together. But right now, not too much about this character needs to change. There's gonna be 8, let me see, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. There's gonna be 8 characters in this scene, so I don't need to focus so much on making the hair move too and things like that. Now maybe I'll get a little bit, nitpicky once I do go back in and do the cleanup. But as of right now, when it comes to this process and how I'm looking at it, because it's such a short scene, there's no need for all of that. So you're seeing me do in Procreate what I can't do in Procreate Dreams, which is using that lasso tool, selecting something and moving it. Now I'm gonna need Procreate Dreams to get it together, because I do have plans to use that app fully when it comes to doing my animations. I would love to, but they got some things they have to fix first. Like, I'm not going to be zooming in and out of the screen to make sure that my pen is the same size. It's just not going to happen. It's much better to draw in Procreate, and if you just want to use Procreate Dreams to complete full out animations, or I guess tie down animations or whatnot, it's better to just drag and drop, for me at least, at this point in time, until they get their stuff together. Okay? Maybe the app is just not designed for people like me and mine. I'm gonna need them to reconsider. I'm loyal to Procreate. I love Procreate. I dropped Toon Squid for Procreate. So yeah. Anyways, getting back into what's going on here. So I'm doing a lot of duplicating and moving slightly. And if you know the 12 principles of animation, what's at play here is not only art, which just kind of comes naturally once you're doing it, but slow in and slow out. Like, the movement, I don't want it to be, I don't want it to be abrupt. I want it to be, smooth, kind of realistic. So he kind of moves from one side, starting slow, quick in the middle to the other, because it's a quick movement. He's not like moving in slow motion. He's like reacting, like he moves to the side, and then later on you're gonna see he kind of moves, he raises up a little bit as well. So yeah. So this is, you gotta cheat the system. It's not really cheating, but it's just kind of like being, playing into the conveniences that you have. I need this to be as convenient and as easy as possible. Don't make it hard on yourself. I don't need to go in and sketch out every frame for all these characters. I'm working on 8 characters. Thanks. So, with that being said, this is how I went about doing this. Now, the characters that you see, well, you don't see right now, but the 2 characters up front, and like when it comes to little details, like you'll see later, like the mouth, which I'm going to have to correct. As you're watching this, you're going to see how that happens. But now that I can go back and, do that frame by frame and actually draw out how I want it to look. But as far as the shell of the person, not too much on these little details. Not too much. Hoping that makes sense. In my head, perfect sense. When I say it out loud, not so much. But if you know, and if you don't, I'll explain. Just drop a comment if it doesn't. And I don't really do too much of organizing when it comes to the frames. I kind of just look at the little preview that Procreate gives us for each frame, and that's how I determine, what it is I'm clicking on. Plus, one click select and deselect will tell you the exact frame that you're working on. So, not too much on my organization skills, they're poor. I only say that because I care a lot about organizing, so. Anyways. So I'm realizing that I'm needing to rearrange these frames to adjust the timing of them. I want him to be the start of the movement in this animation. So I'm going to make his movement start earlier than everyone else's, and he's going to react later than everyone else. So that's what's happening here. So another principle that's at play is timing as well as spacing. And if you don't know what I'm talking about when it comes to the 12 principles of animation, or you just need maybe a refresher, check out the playlist that I created on my channel going over the 12 principles of animation as presented to us by Frank Thompson and Ollie Johnston with Disney Animation. That was a cool series. I loved working on it, and I may do another version of that in the future once I wrap up, this project, because I realized there's so, it's an endless thing that you can continue to expand on. There's a point in this process where I kind of got frustrated with myself, trying to figure out exactly how I was going to time this character's reaction in this video, because something was just off. I'm waiting for it to get to that point so I can show you all what I'm talking about. Okay, so I'm playing it now, and yeah. Okay, I haven't even got to the point where all of his frames are included. So let's see. So it's a slow in, and then I put something in the middle, and then the slow out. Now this isn't the complete motion, but this is the first part of his motion, and then there's a second part to his motion, which will also be a slow in, slow out, I believe. More rearranging. And there's that second movement there. Right here, when I zoom in, I'm looking at the outline of the character, and that's how I determine the spacing. The movement is subtle intentionally, so I don't want to overly space it or put too much space when the objective is for the character to be moving smoothly and slowly in this instance. The slower the character, the more frames. The quicker the character, the less frames. Yeah, and I'm not liking, see, this is where it gets a little funny looking because I don't want his mouth to just pop open. That doesn't look natural. But I'm not focusing on the mouth right here. I'm still focusing on the spacing of the frames of the character. And I'll end up focusing on the mouth on the latter end of this process. So yeah, I think that's right. Let's see. Nope. Yep, gotta rearrange it. They are out of place, and that is due to my poor organization skills. That's poor planning on my part, but I'm just trying to get this out the way. This is the fun, not so fun part. The not so fun part of the fun part. Okay, that looks better. And you know what? Now that I'm looking back at it, I may add a blink for him because nobody's blinking. That's not natural. But they are shocked, so we'll see how it looks. I think the character that I'm animating right now is going to be the character that blinks. And these subtle movements, these subtle actions make a difference to me. To me, they make a difference. And I think they'll make a difference to the subconscious of the viewer because whether they realize it or not, subconsciously, it'll be more realistic. Yeah, more natural. And I do a lot of zooming in and zooming out of the canvas because I want to see how it looks, close up, the attention to detail, but also far back because I realize that's how it's going to be viewed by the viewer, and to see just how, if I'm effectively getting my point across, my objective, my goal across. So this is me flipping through the frames. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, see? The movement is okay, but that little glide, he shouldn't be gliding into place. That's not the goal there. So that's what I'm going to have to correct here. Now, this is where I'm like, okay, is it the mouth? And I'm going to spend a little time making the mistake of trying to frame by frame the mouth movement when that's not the issue. That doesn't end up being what the issue is with this movement here. But you know, going through the motions, I tried something, tried to see if this would fix it. It doesn't fix it, that's okay. And yeah. This is where just winging it takes place. Right now I'm just winging his reaction. Everybody else is pretty stable, other than, well, there's movement, but it's not too much movement. He does the most movement in this situation. Uh, as of right now, there's two other characters that I'm going to animate after him, but let's see. Trying to in between this mouth. See, proper planning prevents wasting time, and that's what's viable when it comes to any craft, but very valuable when it comes to animation. So this is just the result of poor planning on my part. I'll take that L. Yeah, let's press play, trying to see it through and realize, that's not it. That's not the situation here. So how do I correct it? Not yet. Still thinking that it's the mouth. This is humbling to watch. I just feel like I should know better. That's okay. Still realizing that did not fix anything. So let's see. Is this where I realize that something else is going to have to give? Yes, finally. I go in and remove the mouths entirely, because that's not where the problem lies. So removing the mouths that is what eventually helps me realize that it's the timing and spacing of the character that I need to focus on, rather than that little detail that really doesn't matter here yet. It will, just not yet. So now we're getting somewhere. Lesson learned here: if you want less frustration in the animation process, plan properly. Proper planning would have prevented this. So I'm looking at it and I'm trying to figure out what would be the best next steps in this situation. Yeah, now I'm over analyzing, but I wouldn't even say over analyzing. I'm analyzing to see what adjustment can I make to get the desired look that I'm going for. Yeah, so he doesn't need to really ease into, yeah, that glide throws it off. I gotta get rid of that glide. He shouldn't be gliding into one position and then gliding out of that. It just doesn't make sense. That's not natural. Looks like he's on skates. So how do I fix it? I delete the frame. So he kind of pops to that position instead of eases into that position. And let's see what difference that will make. Already looks better. Still a little glide there. Let's see if I go in and I'm trying to see what else can I do, because it looks better but still not what I'm going for completely. Okay, I think I settled for that movement. I think that ends up working. Let's see. Because if I'm going in and I'm drawing them out. Let's see. Previously, I had the mouth changing a lot more. I think I ended up being comfortable with the look or the motion of the character and just making it so that the mouth does not change like I had it changing before. Keeping it in the same position so that there isn't too much going on with this one character. I don't want to overdo it, you know? So let's see. Just a little bit more tweaking. I'm not mad at that though. Let's see. Yeah, yep. That's much better. Much better. Really ties in with the look. If you made it this far, you're appreciated. That's it for this one. Thanks for watching. Be on the lookout for the next video.